Okay, for this assignment, we need to use an inch template here. So if you want to find something that uses inches or feet and inches, preferably the 3D template, because that's what we'll be using later on for our 3D print. Okay, so this is our window, and I am going to right-click on the MakerBot Replicator print envelope and get rid of it. And now I'm going to move it around. We're going to use the rectangle tool, and I'm going to make a 1-inch square, a 1-inch by 1-inch square. So I hit Tab, 1, 1, and hit Return, and there's my 1-inch square. And now I'm going to go use the push-pull tool, and I'm going to pull this up, and I'm going to hit the Tab key and type a 1 and hit Enter. Now I've got my 1-inch cube. It's very important that you start and have an exact 1 by 1 by 1 cube, and you can check your work if you go here to the Tools menu, down to Dimensions, and I can pull a line, pull these out, and we can see if everything is 1 inch by 1 inch by 1 inch. And that's a good idea so that I can see what your dimensions are when I check your work. Okay? Now we're going to put some surface details on this, and one of the things we're going to do is a circle, and we usually, when we make a circle, we start with the center point, and I want this circle to be right in the center of this square, and that might be tough to use or to figure out. If I can put a guide in here, I can use the measuring tape tool and put some guides in across wise, and right where they cross here is the middle. And so that tells me where the middle is, and then I can start right at the middle. And I'm going to make this is a 1-inch square, so I'm going to make a 1/2 inch diameter, but realize that what I'm typing in is the radius. So what's half of the diameter, 1/2 inch is 0.25. So I'm going to 0.25, Tab, 0.25, Enter, and there's my, and again, we can check this with the dimensions. Alright, and I don't need these guides again, so I can just come in and use the eraser tool and get rid of the guides. I'm going to use the push-pull tool, and I'm going to push this in, and I'm going to tab -0.5. Oops, it went out. Oh, you know what? It should be 0.25. I'm going to Control Z and undo. Try this again. I'm going to go in, tab, 0.25. Alright. And now I'm going to put another circle on the top. I'm going to do the same trick with the guidelines here. And do another circle, except this one will go out. Tab, 0.25. There we go. And that's how we add surface detail to our model. We can draw stuff and push and pull it out real easy. Now I want to put a square shape on this side, and I could use the rectangle tool and use the guidelines and measure in, a 1/4 inch down and a 1/4 inch over to where to start, and I could set it up that way. But there is actually an easier tool we can use to do this, and that is called the offset tool right here. So here you can see I can select the surface, and the surface is highlighted. You can see that red dot on the edge, and so if I click, and now I've got that shape, and the number I type in is how far away from the edge this shape is all the way around. And I want to be tab 0.25 again, 1/4 inch. And there's my square, and it should be a 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch square. And we can verify that also with dimensions. Easy enough. And we can even measure how far away we are from the edge. Okay, so now I want to push this out. I'm going to come out, tab, 0.25, enter. A lot of dimensions there. And I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to use the offset tool, tab, 0.25. And this one I'm going to push in. I've still got some blank sides, so at this point you can do whatever you want to these last two sides. If you want to make a circle or a square, peg or hole, just do something, some detail on these two surfaces here. And yeah. So now I've got a detail all the way around. I've got a couple of square pegs and a square circular peg and holes. I'm going to get rid of these two guides, use the eraser tool, and we can get rid of the dimensions now too. Clean everything up. All right. Because we're going to be moving this stuff around and connecting it, it'd be a good idea to group it. So I'm going to select by dragging a marquee window here and make sure I get the whole thing in here and all of it's highlighted, and now I'm going to right click and make group. And this is important because if I don't do this and we go to move things around, if I just grab here to move, let me undo the group. If I just grab here to a point to move this around and I want to move the whole thing, did I just move the whole thing? Nope, I just moved that point and it distorted my picture here. So I want to grab and, nope, I don't want to do that. Nope, I didn't want to do that. So this is where grouping is really nice. I can highlight the whole thing and right click, make a group. And now when I use the move tool, I can pick it up and move the whole thing as a unit. Okay? Now that I have it grouped, I can go up to the edit menu, I can copy this object, and I can paste another one in. I'm going to orbit around. How do I want to put this together? Let's see. I'm going to rotate this object around so that this peg can go into this hole. So I'm going to turn it 90 degrees. I'm going to use the rotate tool, and this is a little tough. This is going to take a little bit of getting used to. But I want to rotate on this green axis here 90 degrees, and one of the difficult things is to make sure you're always turning 90 degrees, because if you don't, you can get yourself all out of kilter and it'll be hard to put it back the way it was. It's also a good idea that if it's all turned out of whack to not make sure you don't save so you can undo your work. Okay, so now that I've got this turned, I can go to the move tool, and it's a good idea that when you pick stuff up and move, you're going to find it harder to move things into place and line it up. Sometimes you need to change your point of view here a little bit if you orbit around. But a good tip is to grab at corners, because corners want to match up and jump. You know, if you can tell when you get near a corner or near a line, it wants to jump to that. So if I grab at a corner and pick it up, that point will match up to the corner of where I want to go. So I want to match it up like that, and you see it can jump a little bit and locks in, and that's what we want it to do. Okay, I'm going to go to the view, and I want to show back edges. And you can see when I zoom in here, I can see that there's a circular shape here and here. You want to watch out for circular shapes matching up with square shapes. You can't, a circular peg won't fit into a square hole correctly. We want to do square to square and circle to circle. And I want you to put in two more and connect them. Okay,